Welcome back, everybody, and to another episode of Speed or Justice. So the High Priest has said something, pretty much, not gonna help his case very shortly here. We're gonna present that whole thing because he may not actually have heard the Plume Punisher theme. It is?
Still you writhe in defiance of your fate? The very sight reminds me of a tortured soul, writhing in flames.
You won't be saying that once I show you the evidence. Now, all I have to do is pick the right one. This piece of evidence is inconsistent with the statement about the taiko drum intro. My badge! Oh, gotta make sure this is recording, right? This is what's inconsistent with the statement. My client's Plume Punisher strap.
What does that have to do with anything?
It plays the Plume Punisher theme song. And here it is. The theme to the Plume Punisher, Warrior of Neo Twilight Realm. There are no taiko drums, boy. Made in China. Do you see what I mean? The music the victim heard in his final moments might not have been the Plume Punisher theme song. I'm afraid I'm not following you. What was it if not the Plume Punisher theme? In his final moments, Acolyte Zealot heard the prayers of the people, the Steel Samurai theme. There are no taiko drums in the intro of the Plume Punisher theme. So what Acolyte Zealot actually heard in his final moments was the theme of the Steel Samurai, Warrior of Neo Old Tokyo. I'm still waiting for that crossover. Make it happen, Capcom. Peace! Peace! Peace, I say! Mr. Wright, what is the Steel Samurai of which you speak? The Steel Samurai, Warrior of Neo Old Tokyo is an action hero show from America. The Plume Punisher theme is is very similar to it. If you didn't know about the Steel Samurai, you could easily mistake the two.
But the fact that Acolyte Zealot heard music from an American action hero show is irrefutable evidence that the accused was in the secret hideout.
Actually, no. You have it backwards.
Backwards?
That's right. Miss Faye met an avid Plume Punisher fan here in Korean. And as a token of their friendship, she traded a certain Steel Samurai item she had for the Plume Punisher strap.
Him?
And this avid Plume Punisher fan was the one who killed Acolyte Zealot? Yes. And that avid fan is none other than the High Priest's wife. Believe in me. Do you have evidence to back up this claim, Mr. Wright? Or as forgiving as the Holy Mother is? I doubt she would tolerate yet another dose of your baseless slander. I suggest you prepare yourself to face Her Holiness's wrath. Oh, I'm prepared to turn this entire case upside down, that is. This is my last chance. I better take a deep breath and review the evidence. Very well then, please present your evidence if you would, defense. The evidence that proves Mrs. Inmate was the one who killed Acolyte Zealot is this. Before we do that, saving the game. Alright, we are presenting the family photo, or the group picture. It's right here in this family photo. Proof that Mrs. Inmate and Miss Faye traded items featuring their favorite characters. A family photo. And what exactly should we be looking at here? Oh, come on, it's right in the shot. The proof that they exchanged items featuring their favorite characters is right here. On her wrist. Look at Mrs. Inmy's left wrist. You can see the Steel Samurai's trademark top knot right there. Which clearly makes this a Steel Samurai watch.
Yeah!
Why, I never knew your wife had such hobbies, Abby and me. This family photo was taken right before Acolyte Zalot was murdered. By that point, my client had the Punisher strap and Mrs. Inmi had the Samurai Switch. The watch. The Samurai Switch. I mean, I do have a Nintendo Switch! Yeah! So, what the victim heard in his final moments was none other than the sound of the watch Mrs. Inmi was wearing.
Hold it! I wish to amend my testimony. What I thought were taiko drums was something else. My wife never had such a watch. It's the truth, I tell you. You must believe me, Your Majesty.
Be not deceived by the defense's lawyerly chicanery. Chicanery? What? Oh, English! Now what? The only problem doing this live, because I can't go back to anything, is that I have to be on spot with these words. I'm so sorry. He's been pretty quiet up to this point. What does he have up his sleeve? There is a big gaping hole in his flimsy claim. A big gaping hole? I don't think so. Oh no, I'm afraid it is there, alright. Just like the big gaping holes in your putrid brain. My brain is neither putrid nor full of holes. I'm not a zombie after all. Says the dead lawyer walking. He who is narrow of vision focuses on what is before him, never seeing the big picture. Or as they say in your country, you cannot see the forest for the trees. For it is as you said. And Lady Inmi, the rebel, slew Acolyte Zalot, the rebel hunting Lady Kira. Then the rebel hunter would have been dead before the high priest was slain. Ah! That means the high priest could not have been slain by the rebel hunting Lady Kira! How could I have missed that? So tell me, who are you going to say killed the high priest now? No! Rubble. Do you finally understand the sheer size of the holes that riddle your putrid brain? Ugh, I'm in hot water now. I don't have any other suspects in the High Priest's murder. You mindless zombie. You should have begun your journey into the Twilight Realm long ago. Now let it go and move on. No, I will never give up. I just need to think things through and figure it out. Who really killed the High Priest? Oh, this thing. I keep forgetting what's the exact name of this mechanic. If Acolyte Zalot had been Lady Kira, he couldn't have killed the High Priest. So the question is, who did? Maybe I can get to the bottom of this by reviewing the events of this case in order. Is it like thought route or something? What evidence could tell me something about the crime scene before the murder? Maya's testimony. Alright, Maya said that the spring had been stained red before the rite even began. The spring was already red before the High Priest's murder because of Zalot's blood. That's right, Zalot had been killed in the rebel hideout the day before the rite, and his blood had flowed into the spring. Wait a second, the High Priest knew that Zalot had been killed in the hideout, so why didn't he report it to the authorities? If Maya had been the killer, he could have easily had her arrested on the spot. Why didn't the High Priest inform the authorities right then? To keep the hideout hidden. If he reported Zalot's murder, the authorities would find out about the hideout. That was what he was worried about. But by going through with the rite, the High Priest risked having Maya see the spring running red with blood. Why did he have to go through with the rite? Did he want to set up the scene? Use the rite to cover things up. He wanted to set the crime scene to conceal the hideout. But how was he planning on concealing the source of the blood in the spring? He emptied the spring, he used Maya's blood, he used his own blood. Stained the spring with his own blood. He concealed the source of the blood with his own. That was how he kept the rebel hideout a secret. It's all starting to fall into place. I know who killed the High Priest. It was Thrust himself. Thrust's death was a suicide. I can't believe it. The High Priest took his own life to keep the rebel hideout a secret. I think this is actually the first case where suicide was the reason of death. Which is pretty awesome! And I think this is what made Case 3 in this game really stand out. The High Priest wasn't murdered by anyone. He took his own life to keep the rebel hideout a secret.
What?
What? What's this? They have the thought route, that means we're almost done too. You almost got your corner thrust, but holy shit. The High Priest committed suicide? I have never heard anything more absurd. Welcome to Ace Attorney. The lawyer has placed a stain on the good priest's death with his putrid brain. Its putrid, gaping holes are as large as the hole in his logic. What hole? You still fail to understand. You truly cannot see the forest for the trees. You claim the High Priest took his own life. But have you considered who brought the dagger to the Plaza of Devotion? It's a different weapon! After the High Priest was killed, the dagger was thrust into Acolyte Zealot's dead body. Only the accused, Maya Fey, could have done that. It is as Prosecution Madi says. Your claim is rather porous in its logic, and your evidence is too weak. You cannot prove that the High Priest took his own life to conceal the rebel hideout. Ugh, wanna bet? They're right, the dagger was impaled in Zealot's body. But his body had been placed at the plaza the previous day. Well, Mr. Wright, would you care to respond? Zealot's body was already in the plaza the day before the rite. But what if the dagger was also already in him at that time? The dagger was never at the inner sanctum. It was... Thrust died for a different weapon. Of course, that's it. What is it? There was no need to move the dagger. It had already been stabbed into Acolyte Zealot's body the day before the rite. What? So that means... What does that mean? It means the dagger wasn't the weapon that took the High Priest's life. But no weapon was ever found at the inner sanctum. If you will not listen to reason, then I insist you prove your assertion. Show us what you believe the real murder weapon to be. The real weapon? I've got nothing. I got something! But I know there had to have been a weapon there. Maybe if I think back on the trial thus far, I'll spot the clue I need. Oh man, I was expecting a flashback. Well, would the defense care to tell us what the real murder weapon is? This is what really killed the High Priest. The Warbad statue. What really killed him has been at the inner sanctum all this time, and its lethality has already been demonstrated by the late Acolyte Zealot. That's right, It was the Warbat statue! Pokanka! Down you go. You believe that the statue claimed both victims' lives? Would you care to chime in, Abbott and me?
No, he lies. Pay him no heed.
Hold it. Why, it's... Lady in me. Darling, don't you think this has gone on long enough?
Hold it. Believe. No. Your Majesty, my wife knows nothing.
Please, Abbott and me, let your wife speak. Now, Lady in me, please continue if you would. It's that time again. And what time would that be? 2:30 in the afternoon, the time my husband conducts his daily prayers. And the time prey was slain. This is a very morbid place to be playing that right now. That pretty much just condemned her. That sound, it's... the Steel Samurai alarm. I, too, like to pray at the same time as my dear husband. So I set an alarm to remind me each day, but I had no idea it would come to this.
No, stop. She knows not what she speaks.
Your Majesty, I am the one who slew Acolyte Zealot. Abbott and me! Bailiff, summon a physician at once! Yeah, that's still Maya's body, man! The physician is now attending the high priest, so there is no need to fear. Now, let us continue. And what about the half of him called Maya that's still among the living? Mrs. Inme, will you tell us everything you know? The truth is, I am a rebel, just like my husband. This tragedy unfolded before the rite, during the Feast of Blessings. I had gone to the rebel hideout to prepare it for Dat's escape. And that's when Acolyte Zealot suddenly appeared? Yes. Hooray was shocked when he saw me there. Acolyte Zealot did not know you were a rebel? I do not believe he did. I believe he was there simply to investigate the hideout. And then he suddenly came face to face with Mrs. Inme. So the true identity of the rebel hunting Lady Kira was Praise-a-Lot? Yes. He was a member of the secret police serving directly under the Minister of Justice. The secret police? And this is what he said to me. I can kill rebels with impunity. With impunity, the Justice Minister has my back. He was using his position within the secret police to deal us rebels a heavy blow. But murder sanctioned by the crown is still murder. Holy shit. Even without the DC Act, Dirk and his insurgent scum buddies' days are numbered. What's that supposed to mean? Let's just say, I got a little trick up my sleeve, so I'd watch it if I were you. But you got a defiant attitude, like one of them dragon dupes. The trick up Minister Inga's sleeve was Lady Kira. No! This can't be! My father would never... This must be a bolt out of the blue for Rafa. This explains why Acolyte Zayla abandoned his real name. Yes. He even went as far as covering up the tattoo that all Kuraianist clergy members receive. Lady Kira was a member of the secret police? That explains why no order was given to investigate her attacks. I guess I'm not alone in hearing this for the first time. But, this cannot be! Your dad's a killer! Is this true? The Justice Minister is sanctioning state-sponsored murder? Peace! Now, Lady Idmi, please continue. Pere suddenly lunged at me. That's when I pushed a stone slab toward him with all my might. So it was out of self-defense. But I never meant for what happened next to occur.
Hold it! Allow me to take it from here.
Pardon me. Are you sure you're alright now?
I am sorry you had to see that. But you need not worry about me. I am already dead.
Please, we need to know what was so important that you would take your own life.
After I learned that my wife had accidentally slain Selat, I chilled his body with snow to make it seem as if he died more recently than he did. Then, I later moved it to the Plaza of Devotion and inserted the dagger into his wound. The plaza was empty at that time, for it was before prayer time had started. Finally, I placed his body in the prayer pose, knowing that no one would notice anything was wrong until the rite had concluded.
It is perfectly plausible that no one would disturb him if he seemed to be praying. We do treasure our prayer time, after all. So you admit you tried to pin this crime on Maya Fey?
Yes, this was all my doing. I never told my wife of my plan, for surely she would have tried to stop me.
How did you get Miss Fey's fingerprints on the dagger?
I had her hold it while we were rehearsing the rite the day before. And right before the rite, I drugged her with a sleeping agent. Then, I put Lady Kira's robes over the Warbad statue.
That means... Maya was probably already groggy by the time the rite started.
Finally, I ended my own life, to ensure that the crime would appear to have been by Acolyte Fey's own hand.
But when your body was discovered, Lady Kira's robes were on the ground. How did they end up there if they were on the statue?
After I impaled myself on one of the statue's dagger-like feathers, I used the last ounce of my strength to hurl my body backwards. As I did, I grabbed onto the robes, taking them with me as I fell back onto the ground.
How terrible! What possessed you to do such a thing? You needn't have committed suicide simply to frame the accused.
Prosecutor Samadhi, as one well-versed in our kingdom's legal system, I would expect you of all people to understand.
Understand what? This kingdom's legal system, Mrs. Inmi's crime, your suicide. It can't be. That would be sadder than sad. And here comes the tragedy. Why, I believe the defense knows of what the High Priest speaks. Yes, I finally understand. This explains why the High Priest took his own life. Let's present the law book. The Defense Culpability Act. Circumstantial evidence supports Mrs. Inmi's killing of Acolyte Zealot in self-defense. However, it would be next to impossible to prove it without a lawyer. That's why the High Priest wanted to pin the crime on Maya Fey. I fail to see what that has to do with his suicide. Oh my god, smack this man! In Korean, the divination seance is the most important piece of trial evidence. The High Priest wanted to frame Miss Fey as a serial killer. It was a clever plan in which he made sure he'd see Lady Kira in his final moments.
The lawyer speaks true. That is why I placed Lady Kira's robes upon the Warbat statue.
He manipulated the seance.
I made it seem that Acolyte Fey was the rebel-hunting Lady Kira.
Hold it! But... are you saying you used my divination seance to produce false evidence?
Forgive me, your benevolence. But it was the only way to help my lovely wife.
If you had approached me first, I could have proved that the murder was in self-defense.
Perhaps. But I had little faith in lawyers, despite being a rebel.
How utterly foolish to cast away one's life for such a reason. Is it really, Nayuta? Is it? There must have been other ways to cover up the crime. Oh my god, why would you influence that? No! That's bad advice!
Yet, had I done so, my wife would rush to my defense, and when the case went to trial, she would suffer the same fate as I under the Defense Culpability Act. I could not have lived with myself had she been convicted because of that fiendish man.
This cannot be. All I have done under the laws of our kingdom, it has all been... Poor Rafa. She's really taking this hard. But I can't say I'm surprised.
Mr. Phoenix Wright, it is time to show the might of your legal prowess. You mustn't allow another innocent soul to be charged under that despicable law.
Of course. I'll do whatever I can.
What I have done to you and Acolyte Fey is unforgivable. I can only offer my most humble of apologies. Your Majesty.
Yes?
I ask that you please look after my wife.
You have my word.
Your benevolence, it is time that I return to the spirit realm. The Magatama of parting, if you please.
Very well. Hold it! Your benevolence. Please, allow me the honor. Yes, it would be more fitting for you to send him on his way. Mrs. Inmi. Darling, I'm so glad I was able to see you one last time. Thank you for everything.
I'm sorry to leave you like this, my love.
But now you can watch over me from the world beyond.
Yes, always and forever.
And with every breath I take, my darling, I'll be thinking of you. Farewell, my darling Thrust.
The High Priest has returned to the Twilight Realm.
Maya!
I feel great! I guess that means he didn't leave any regrets behind. Oh! But what about the trial, Nick?
It's over. It was a sad reality born of love, and a great tragedy born of the Defense Culpability Act. Well, I see no need to continue this trial. Does the prosecution have anything to say? Mr. Phoenix Wright, I owe a debt to you, one that I will pay back in court someday. Oh my god, this guy. Now, to deliver today's verdict and overturn that of yesterday's trial. With respect to all current and previous charges against them, I hereby declare the accused, Maya Fey, and her defense, Phoenix Wright, not guilty! Spirit butterflies! Oh god! That was heavy. We're going slightly over, but honestly I'm not gonna stop because, hey, we're almost done. But damn! Damn, son! Fell into tears from that. I need tissues. Okay.
So, I was thinking, Nick. The legal system here is really stacked against the defense. It's totally unfair.
Yeah, he even forced the High Priest to make the ultimate sacrifice just to protect his wife.
It's just so sad.
Protect the status quo or join the revolution. If the real Lady Kira were here, I wonder which side she would take. Oh, Rafa. She's probably beside herself at this point. Your benevolence. Huh? What? I was, just wondering. Are you alright? Quiet, you! How could I possibly be alright? Oh. Yeah, she's not doing well at all. Who do you think you are, suddenly appearing before me? Trampling my insights underfoot and plunging the Hall of Justice into utter chaos! You even desecrated my mother and father's teachings, you soulless infidel! Oof, that was a bit more extreme than usual. What am I to do? I had always believed that communing with his victim's Mitama would lead me to the absolute truth. But each time you overturned my insights, it was revealed that they served to support false charges rather than the truth. I'm left now with that heavy truth in my heart. I'm sorry, Rafa. Perhaps I am not worthy of hearing the voices of the Mitama.
That's where you're wrong, Your Benevolence.
What? Maya? How dare you!
Your role is to bring forth the voices of the Mitama into our world. If you don't do it, who will?
You know nothing, Maya Fey! It was spirit channeling, not a divination seance that brought the truth to light. How dare an outsider like you employ the Queen's secret art? But what can I do? My spiritual power does not even approach yours. Ha! It is a cruel joke. Is it not a cruel joke? The royal priestess bested by a lowly outsider. Don't be so hard on yourself. Why not? It is worth at least a laugh or two.
You shouldn't talk like that.
Huh? Rafa, please.
Listen, Your Benevolence. You were just fulfilling your duty, weren't you? And you're the only one capable of performing the divination seance, right? The station of Royal Priestess is not something to abandon lightly.
The station of Royal Priestess?
The people of your kingdom believe in you. But if you really mean all that you just said, then what are they supposed to believe in?
You know not of what you speak! Well, she totally does.
Actually, I kinda do. After all, I'm only here training so I can become the master of my village back home.
A village master, you say? I did not know. It seems I owe you an apology. For even today I called you a neophyte practitioner.
It's alright, Your Benevolence. Thank you for finally acknowledging me.
Oh my god, Maya, just be a big sister to Rafa. A future queen and a future village master? I guess it shouldn't be a surprise, considering they may have had a common ancestor. Maya's right, Your Benevolence. But Barbhead? Your insights were a crucial piece of evidence in this last trial. It doesn't matter if they weren't always 100% accurate. You should be proud of what you did. You've played an important role in assuring that justice was served. And besides, your insights aren't the problem here. It's your kingdom's legal system. Without lawyers, your insights have come to be accepted as the sole truth. And the Defense Culpability Act, which gave rise to that, is the root of it all. But that is a dangerous thinking of a rebel!
Your Benevolence. As Crown Princess, you are destined to rule this kingdom one day. That means there will be many things that you alone must determine. Things like how to keep your people happy, and what is true and what is false. And most importantly, what role you must play therein.
I wonder if I'm even up to the task.
Knowing you, Your Benevolence, you're more than capable.
I've never heard Maya talk like this before. She's really come a long way. Okay! Surprise! What was that? It came from the hallway! Smoke! We better go check it out! Hurry! Mrs. Inme. Mr. Wright, Acolyte Faye, I am so sorry for what transpired. You were almost sentenced to death because of me. Oh, well, I guess she's done grieving now. I will make amends by picking up where my husband left off. I will see the revolution through, so nothing like this can ever happen again. For that is the depth of my love for my dearly departed husband.
Lee and me, we gotta hurry.
That voice, is that Mr. Rebel? I must tell the people. They must learn that the peace we enjoy is a false one. One built on the backs of innocents charged with false crimes under that odious DC Act. We have it in our power to forge a society in which the law judges all of us fairly.
Hey there, PW. I wish we had more time to talk, but... Dirk, everything's ready. It's go time.
Dirk? Oh, well, hello there! Wait, was that the rebel leader Dirk? That sure did look like him! After him! Don't let them get away! The power to forge a society in which the law judges all of us fairly. It's the start of a legal revolution.
Hey, Nick. Hate to bother you while you're lost in thought, but I just got this great idea.
What is it?
The Steel Samurai versus the Rebel Dirk. I bet it'd make for another awesome TV show.
Maya!
And if we threw the Plume Punisher in there, everyone would go nuts over it.
This show sounds even more awesome. I'll never get what she sees in those shows. But it's good to know that no matter what happens, Maya will always be Maya. Bless! Oh, are we finished? Is it done? The end! We finished case 3 and boy, what a tragedy. Whenever we get to it, we'll get to case 4 of this. At the time of this recording, I will likely be going into case 4 of DGS again, since now I have a 3DS again that I can actually record off of my game again. So, might be a while before we actually get to case 4 in this game, but, you know, when it happens, it happens. It'll happen at some point. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.